Hi, I'm going to show you how to configure a Fortinet FortiGate virtual machine to work with SSL Orchestrator. Here's the example of the network settings in VMware for the Fortinet. You can see network adapter number 1, we're using that for management. Network adapter number 2 is not currently used for this. Number 3 is what we're going to be using for explicit proxy connections to and from the Fortinet. And network adapter 4 is not actually used. From the ESX port group standpoint, you really just need to make sure that you have a port group with the big IP as well as the Fortinet VM egress available. Now let's go look at the Fortinet configuration. First we go over to System and then Feature Visibility. And what you want to make sure to do is turn on the explicit proxy option. It's not on by default. And once that is enabled, you can go up to the network and then explicit proxy and review the settings here. You can see that it's enabled. It's listening on interface port 2, and the HTTP port we're using for this is 8080. All of this, rest of this is relatively straightforward, not much else to configure. But let's take a look at the network interface that we're using for this, interface number 2. Here we can see it's got a static IP address of 10.0.0.49, and it has the option of the explicit web proxy enabled. And the last thing that you'll probably need from the FortiGate is a static route. This route here is strictly used for management. This route here to 10.1 and port 2, that's used for connections back to the big IP. It's going to be using a self IP of 10.0.0.1. Now let's go ahead and review the network settings for the big IP. You can see here that we have network adapter number 1 is used for management. Network adapter 2 is used for the explicit proxy connection to and from the FortiGate. Network adapters 3 and 4 are used for connectivity north and south of the big IP. We'll go ahead and review the network settings in the big IP itself. Let's look at the VLANs. And we have one VLAN for the egress to the explicit proxy connection on the FortiGate. We've got 2 VLANs here for north and south connectivity to and from the big IP. And if we look at the self IPs, we can see 10.0.0.1 is the IP address used for the egress FortiGate VLAN. And that's going to be used to communicate with the FortiGate. Now, if we go over to the actual configuration of SSL Orchestrator, we've got a very simple example here with an L3 inbound topology configured, but with no services added. So we're going to go ahead and we'll add the FortiGate service. It's under inline HTTP, and there it is. And we're going to uncheck that option, set it to explicit. We're going to choose the option to send to 10.0.0.1. We're going to add the proxy IP address, which is right there, and then port 8080, as you might remember. And then we will add that there as well. And save and next. And now we just need to add it to the service chain and we'll be done. Okay, so click on that, move it over, save, okay, save and next, deploy. Okay, deployment was successful. Let's see what our configuration dashboard looks like. You can see the Fortinet there. It's in green, which is good. It means it's working, it's functioning properly. If we look at the service, we can see that it's up as well. So that's it. It's really easy to configure a Fortinet FortiGate virtual machine to use with SSL Orchestrator. Thanks for taking the time to view this.